So today we're on our way to a regular farm. There's a cow with a real need for our attention. We talk about thousands of years worth of cattle hoof care and do everything we can to get this cow feeling more comfortable and pain-free once more. You're watching the Hoof GP. Did you know that cows have been needing regular hoof care for thousands of years, literally ever since they were domesticated? Healthy, comfortable cows are the only way we can produce the amounts of food that we need, and that's always been the case. So even if we look back 1,000 years or 2,000 years even, people were trimming cows' hooves. The only difference is now we have YouTube and television to show people exactly what's happening. Well, I say the only difference, the other major difference is we now have concrete and a lot more people to feed. And with concrete and more cows and modern farming practices, we need to do everything we can to look after those cows, which is why we're on our way today to a regular farm where there's a cow in real need of our help. Year on year, cows are becoming more and more comfortable all the time because more and more we're understanding their true needs. Another major difference now is we obviously have the machinery to better look after the cows. In years gone by, it was literally hands and knives and anything you could grab. Imagine the difference between now and when the Egyptians were here, because yes, they did have cows then. Oh, it is what we call in Scotland close, meaning kind of damp and warm and sweaty. So Craig's doing everything he can to reduce the airflow.
Yeah.
And make it more warm and sticky and sweaty.
Didn't want the cows getting out the door.
That's actually a fair point. Obviously when it comes to trimming, it's not just cows that need their feet looked after, and the bull in the crush behind us right now is a prime example of that. Just imagine trying to get his 4 feet up off the ground in a safe way, in a quick way, in a completely rigid way, without the use of something like the KVK. It would be nigh on impossible. Right, let's get this bull in the crush and check on his feet. I don't think he's lame actually, but he definitely does need a routine trim. Just lift all 4 feet. And this is exactly what we're talking about. He is wearing his feet down, but this foot hasn't worn down completely and it's extra long now, meaning there's too much weight on this foot. So we grab the grinder and start reducing this outside claw as quickly as we can. The bull doesn't like being in the crush, so we need to get this job done as swiftly as possible. We've reduced the entire size and trimmed the end of his toes so that both feet are now the same length. Just like this. Now we're going to model this area out where actually, oh, I've drawn a little line, look. Where actually there's a little bit of bruising, and then we're going to attack this problem here. Now remember, this bull is not lame. Routine trimming is the act of routinely trimming a cow's foot, obviously, or a bull in this case, and picking up problems like these before they ever are real problems. Right, let's get this all modelled out. Yes, the foot is dirty, but to clean it up is just going to take too much time that we don't need to waste. Modelled out beautifully. Right, we've created space now for the bone structure above to sink into this void. Now we need to check on this problem area. This is a white line defect. Actually, it looks like it's going to go deeper than I first thought. You can see it bubbling slightly as I put pressure on it. This could be an issue. Cows or bulls inherently hide their lameness. They're prey animals. And their instinct is to show no sign of pain whatsoever until that pain is too overpowering to be able to hide. Oh, look. See it coming out the side there now. can take big chunks to begin with, but we need to get much slower and more delicate as we get closer to the internal structures of the foot. You can see this white line crack is extending quite high up into his foot. Oh, this is definitely causing him an issue. I wasn't expecting this at all. Give this a good wash out so we can see what's going on. Despite him not showing signs of lameness, clearly a problem like this that goes right up into the heart of his foot will be causing him discomfort, which is why we're applying this block, in the hope that it makes him more comfortable, but also in the hope that this problem doesn't get any worse, and in fact actually starts to heal. So again, we grab the grinder and reduce the entire sole surface of this bull's foot. And once that's done, we move on to the tip of the toe and shorten them back to exactly where they should be. Level with the other one. Right, again you can see bruising here, and as is often the case, this foot mirrors his one on the left hand side. So we're going to need to investigate this in just a second or two. Oh, buttery smooth. Oh, the satisfaction of a knife like that going through hoof horn, which is incredibly hard, is huge. Okay, so we're going to dish this out as deep as we can. Lovely. Oh, that's nice. Right, move on to the medial claw, which is this inner one. Medial is just a fancy name for towards the middle. Okay, we've modelled both of them out. Now let's investigate this by swiping up through this hoof horn. Remember, this is the structural part of his foot. This hoof horn here is separated by this. It's called the white line, but as you can see right now, it's not particularly white because of the crack that's going right up into it, filling up with mud. Well, it's not mud, but you get the idea. Just need to take this slowly because just never quite sure of the sole depth here. We're taking it further than it ideally should be, and look, you can see through the hoof horns, you can see the parts which are going to be double layered through the translucent hoof horn. I think this one's worse than the other one actually. Start swiping down the way I think. You can actually smell the decay within the hoof horn, and look at that. Again, reaching up into his foot. Okay, he's going to need a block, so we might as well get that in position right now. In general, we use wooden blocks because they wear away nicely over time, meaning that we don't need to remove them. These blocks in particular are made of beech, which are a reasonably long-lasting type of wood. They're harder than pine, but softer than oak, and obviously not as expensive as oak, meaning it's the perfect type of wood for this application. Right. We'll just give this a quick wash out so that we can see exactly what we're doing and what we need to remove with this lovely sharp knife. Okay, so I can see it actually starting to peel away slightly there, so that is making me focus right in on this area. You just do not know how thin or thick these layers of hoof horn are, so you need to be reanalyzing the foot with almost, not almost actually, with every swipe of the knife. Again, you can see it there. As I pull there, you can actually see it moving apart from the inner structure, look, up here. And that's the kind of thing I'm looking at all the time. So I know that once I've finished here, I need to move up here because that is also detached. Right, because this is so open, we're actually going to douse the whole thing with iodine and wrap it up. Working as a team means I can leave this back foot now, and Craig can work his magic with the wrap with salicylic acid, while I move on with the task of trimming both his front left and front right feet, which luckily, for the bull at least, there's nothing wrong with whatsoever. Right, we can get him out of the crush now.
And at first, he takes it very slowly indeed, looking less than comfortable.
Whenever you have an animal as large as that in any crush with their feet up in the air, they leave the crush looking a little stiff. I'm 42 years young right now, and if I had my legs up like that, I probably wouldn't walk fantastically either, for at least 5 minutes.
And with that said, it's time to really get on with the job in hand.
Like stone, emotionless in this world of stories. Oh, like stone, I'll be here forever, waiting for your call.
This kind of cow is the exact thing that we do on a day-to-day basis, and exactly what I was talking about. It doesn't even look like there's anything really wrong with her feet. But because comfortable cows are productive cows, we need to be absolutely certain that these cows' feet are completely balanced. So all I'm really doing here with this grinder is ensuring the cow's foot is completely balanced and that it's as level as possible across the entire surface of the foot. Then once that's done, I give her a little bit of wiggle room by modelling out this area before throwing the grinder back in its place and getting this razor sharp knife out to deal with this little piece of cracked hoof horn. You see, I didn't see her walk into the crush, but I'm assuming this is causing a slight bit of discomfort. And even if it's not, it stands to reason that this crack could materialise into a real issue. Because a crack in the foot can obviously materialise into an even deeper crack in the foot, which then would become a real issue. As it is though, as you can see, this crack has disappeared, which is exactly what I was hoping for. And with our back right foot, this is the perfect example of the routine trim. There literally is nothing wrong with this foot whatsoever. We're just ensuring that it is perfectly balanced, modelling this part of her foot out with a knife and ensuring that any little cracks and raggedy hoof horn from around her heels is stripped away so that dirt and manure can't cause a problem by getting in behind those little cracks and undulations, if that makes sense. Right, there is nothing wrong with this cow, but I do know there's a cow coming up with a real issue, and she is the one I'm most apprehensive about.
Mark, my brother-in-law who works here, specifically told me to watch out for this cow because she was exceptionally sore.
This white cow is really struggling with her back left foot, and he doesn't like the look of me, which seems to be a common trait actually with a lot of people. Right, come on, in you go. Come on, up you go, up you go. Come on, go on boy. Go on boy, go on. Just take it slowly and easily. They need to find their own way, because if they don't, they just get stressed and frustrated. And stressed cattle are not something you particularly want to deal with. It's really difficult to tell when they're standing still, but I think she's lame on this back left foot. So here both of her legs are actually pointing in the way, which can also point to a problem on both feet. There you go, come on.
As a professional cattle hoof trimmer, when I see a cow like this, I'm praying it's something that I can deal with, something that I can help to alleviate, which isn't always the case.
So to me, this foot just sitting on the ground doesn't look quite right, but I'm not exactly sure why. And as we clean it off, we start to get a better view and understanding of exactly why it didn't look totally correct when it was on the ground. This cow has what's called foul in the foot. It's a bacterial infection that is incredibly painful for these animals and leads to swelling up in between the claws. If I open this right up actually, you can see all of the horn degradation up in between, and you can begin to understand just why it's so sore. We start off by routinely trimming this cow's foot just as we have done in the past, in an effort to level up these two claws and get the balance level and equal between the two. And now, because that interdigital space is so tight and compacted, it's a perfect breeding ground for bacteria, so we need to open it up and try to get any of the weight away from the affected area. So we're just going to do exactly as we normally do, by opening this area up, by modelling it. That even just helps to get the muck out of that area, lets it disperse with every step the cow takes. And once we've done this medial claw, we'll move on to the lateral one, or the outside one. Again, trying to open up that space in between the digits as much as we possibly can. Problems like this are excruciating for the cow. All of the inflammation within the hoof capsule itself is being constricted by the hoof horn. This outer wall doesn't flex, so any inflammation inside the hoof capsule is being constrained with no relief from the pressure inside. Right, let's just get as much of this hoof horn out of here as we can. The area I'm working in right now is called the axial wall, and it's so difficult to tell how thin that axial wall is. You want to take as much of it away as possible in this situation, but you definitely don't want to take too much away. Right, I'm fairly happy with where we are right now. Clean it out, we're going to jet it out using this spray. We really do need to get this as spotlessly clean as we possibly can. Right, all of these little loose flaps of hoof horn are fantastic for harbouring bacteria. And muck just gets stuck inside every little flap and crevice. And actually, just as I've taken that swipe of the knife, you can see there's more detached hoof horn which I hadn't picked up before. Oh, lass, no wonder you're so sore. Just slip my knife in there as careful as I can and peel away. Oh, yes. Just look at that. This is the corium that you can see being exposed. It's an incredibly delicate structure. One false move and I'll slice right into it and cause some serious damage. Something obviously I'm desperately keen not to do. Okay. Just swap my knife over and swipe up the way because I can see there's detached horn there. Look, see I'm peeling it away, flick it away with the hook of my knife, just use that to tease it out of the way. Ah, oh, what a mess. So the rupture in the foot, the part that's been affected by the foul in the foot, is localised to one side of this claw, the outer claw, which is good for me because it means I can put a block on the inner one and take as much pressure and therefore pain away from the outer or sore claw. As gently as possible, I take away a small slither of hoof horn from the inner claw. Her good one, her sound one, the one I'm going to attach the block to. My aim isn't to reduce it in size, it's to level it up and give the block as good a chance as possible of sticking. Farms like this one up and down the country have sprays like this that have been pre-prescribed by the vets for occasions just like this. Although this cow will actually need vet intervention. I am not a vet, I am a hoof trimmer. And I do what I can as a hoof trimmer with the guidance of the vet and the farmers along the way. So we're going to coat the entire area with this blue antibiotic spray, and then we're going to wrap the whole thing up in an effort to keep that spray in contact with the affected area for as long as possible. From there, I'll tell the farmer exactly what I think is wrong with this cow, and he'll consult the vet and treat her in an appropriate way. My job is to make her foot more functional and more comfortable in the process.
And whilst these cows are in our care, we do everything we possibly can to make sure that all of their feet are as comfortable as they possibly can be. So I make sure I take a look at all 3 of her other feet as well.
When it comes to treating cows like this with problems that are sort of out with my jurisdiction, if you like, it's a real collaboration, a real team effort between myself, the guys who work on the farm, and the vets who attend this farm on a weekly basis. I am a very small, but I like to think fairly important part in that team. Historically, over the past couple of thousand years or so, cows wouldn't be trimmed routinely, so you would see much more of things like this happening. Well, not particularly this problem, but overgrown feet or feet with white line problems like we saw earlier on. In modern farming, there are fewer and fewer situations like this because we are constantly routine trimming these cows' feet to completely avoid that situation. Although clearly, they're not avoided all the time. As we let her out of the crush here, you can see her kicking her back leg in an effort to shake off that bandage and block that I've just attached. It must feel strange for a cow to walk into a crush feeling one way and walk out feeling a very different way from what she entered. The straw-bedded pen that she's in right now is changed every few days to keep it as clean as possible. We will be back at this farm in a few weeks' time from now so that we can check up on her progress and see if what we've done has made a huge difference or not.